All right, we're back. The Psychic Shari YouTube channel, talking to Sherry Klein. Sorry, we're a few minutes late, but it wouldn't be a Psychic Shari YouTube live stream without
Yeah,
technical
there I am.
difficulties.
Every single
Every
time.
time.
I don't get it.
I don't either, man. You may have to start coming over to my house and we just do it like
I
that.
know.
Jeez.
And it's always at the last minute, right
It
before
is.
we're getting ready. Everything's going good, and then something flubs up.
Something
And
does something, yeah. So, all right. Well, this is going to be a special, different kind of live stream than what you all may be used to. We've got we got a special paranormal show. We're going to talk about all things paranormal, spirits, ghosts, orbs, electronic voice phenomenon, and we'll talk about all these with our special guest and sister, Debbie Jordan Kauble. We're going to talk about some experiences we've all had growing up in our ghost house. I don't know if you call it haunted house. I don't know what haunting means, but we had a lot of spirits in there. Our
yeah.
ghost house. Debbie brought along some crazy EVPs for us to listen to. Those are electronic voice phenomenon. When she was doing her ghost hunting trek. Sherry, you did some ghost hunting with her too, a couple of times. So
Yeah.
that's the one where we got the little hand that we talked about a couple of weeks ago
Yep.
in the picture. So
Yeah.
pretty interesting. Got a video that we're going to share with people of an actual orb that Debbie took, an actual video. So that should be really, really fun. For those of you watching the live show today that want to read, that's fine. We'll get to you. This is a psychic reading show, so we're going to do that. So,
Right.
if you like a comment on everything we're talking about, paranormal wise, if you have questions for Debbie, go ahead and put those down in the comment section in the chat. But if you'd like a reading, put that down there. You'd like a reading, and you know we'll have Sherry give you a reading as well. So don't worry about that. But let's get to our special guest right now. Deborah Jordan Kauble was the central figure in Bud Hopkins' international bestseller, Intruders. Um, the incredible visitation of Copley Woods, which was later made into a CBS miniseries of the same name. In 1994, she co authored with our other sister, Kathy, Abducted, the story of Intruders continues. And then again in August of 2021, Debbie did a second book that's out now called Extraordinary Contact, Life Beyond Intruders. Debbie's a former Indiana Mutual UFO Network investigator, co-founder of her own paranormal group, co-host of 2 podcasts, a part-time ghost hunter, and our sister, Debbie Kauble. Debbie, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hello.
Great to have you on.
We all sound the same.
You sound busy. I mean, there's a lot on that bio. I actually took quite a bit what you gave me out. So
Yeah,
busy
been
little.
busy. Yeah, I don't know how I ever was able to work for all the years I worked. Now
Oh,
that I'm
yeah,
retired,
yeah.
I'm busier than ever.
Well, now that you're retired, you can afford to do a lot more stuff, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
I was
I
just going to say, Debbie, do you still do the ghost hunting stuff with Greg? Is that?
We do occasionally. The last time we did something was probably about a year ago. We went to the Rhodes Hotel. I'm trying to think of it. There's 2 hotels in Atlanta, Indiana, the Asher, Walton, and the Rhodes. I've been to both, but this time I went with Greg and we went to the Rhodes. And Greg has hangs out with a paranormal group down in southern part of Indiana where he lives now called BIPS, Boonville paranormal group. They're a really nice bunch of kids. Everybody's a kid to me, but
yeah.
but yeah. So and that was a lot of fun. That was probably it's been over a year since I've gone anywhere. We want to go to the, was it Vasilla Axe Murderer House in I think it's in Kansas. They're making plans to go to someplace up in Huntington, Indiana, or somewhere up there pretty soon. But I don't do it as much as I used to. So.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome to Chris. Great to have you on there. Kathy Macy,
Hi,
thanks for
Kathy.
coming. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's going to be a fun show. Chris, I know you're looking for a reading. Kathy, I know you are too. Let's talk a little bit about Debbie first before we get into that. Debbie, I know we're going to talk mostly of the paranormal, spirits and ghosts, and what happened in our haunted house growing up. But you've got kind of a different origin story. Yours involved UFOs and abductions as well. So, why don't you share with the guest here what happened to you in 1983? I believe.
Mhm. Yeah, don't we have quite an interesting family. So don't forget our older sister had a pretty interesting experience in 1965. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, in 83 I'd moved back home with mom and dad cuz I was getting divorced, you know. And one night I was getting ready to go cut out some patterns, and I happened to notice some weird light in the pump house, the swimming pool. I pointed it out to her, and I was worried about burglars because Daddy's workshop was full of basically money with all the motorcycles back
Yeah.
there. So I was worried about that. I didn't have weird stuff on my mind at all. She didn't seem too concerned about it, so I went ahead and went on over to Deanna's house. But when I got there, I called her because I had noticed something else. I'd noticed that the garage door that was attached to the house was open. And I just wanted to let her know because I was leaving her there with my kids. So she still wasn't too worried about it. And I hung up the phone, and then she called right back and said she wanted me to come home. So I did, went home, went out there and looked around behind the house, checked the pump house, checked Daddy's workshop. Didn't see anything, but I thought, well, if there's somebody out there, they're in the garage. So I went in the garage, and I wasn't brave back then. You guys, we all grew up together. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
don't know what possessed me to go out there like that and do that, but I did. And while I was in the garage, I suddenly felt really weird. I felt like I was on fire, like my skin was burning. And I thought, oh, I got to get out of here. And I went to run through the garage door. And as soon as I hit the doorway, something hit me right in the chest, like a ball. It was like a ball of white light fist or lightning. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I'm dead. And I started to shake, and the shaking got so intense it was like a vibrating, and it felt like I was just coming apart, molecule by molecule, and I couldn't move. I had no idea how long I was in that condition. But suddenly the vibrating stopped and the light got very less bright, it dimmed out really quickly, which was good because it was painful. It was hurting my eyes. And I heard this voice say, it was unfortunate that I felt pain, but I couldn't see anybody. When the shaking stopped, and I suddenly realized when I could move my eyes, but I was no longer standing in the doorway. Now I was outside about 10 feet, I'm thinking, on that patio that is outside that garage door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Daddy's ham radio was over, his antenna was like to my left. But I felt somebody pull down on my shoulder, stab me in the ear. I felt this pain in my ear. And then I thought I saw movement out in front of me. It looked like kids. And I remember thinking, oh my God, what are these kids doing in mom and dad's backyard? And they were all kind of everywhere in the yard. And they all kind of came together up by where the swimming pool gate and the side drive met. They kind of gathered all up there. And I still couldn't move, but I could see. But my vision now had like big splotches of white in them, like flashbulb blotches,
Mhm.
and it was also dark out now. And so I thought, what are these kids doing out in the yard? And as soon as and then I thought about my own kids, and I thought, oh my God, something weird's going on, and my kids are in the house. And that was when I heard the voice again say, "Don't worry, your children are fine." Then as these guys lined up in front of me and kind of glided across the yard towards me, that's when I saw this thing to my left, and it looked like it would look like a small egg sitting on its big bottom with the pointy side up, and it wasn't that big. It wasn't much bigger than the pump house or the swimming pool. And in retrospect, that thing couldn't fly anywhere, not with 6 kids in it. I have no idea what it was, what its actual purpose was. And there was a ball of white light in front of it. There was another light on it. The one in front of it kind of went down to the ground and back up again in front of me. And I don't know why, but I thought it was looking at me, and I didn't know why. And I never remembered where the little kids went, because as soon as I saw that egg thing, I'm like, oh shit, no, I didn't want it to move, and I couldn't take my eyes off of it. And I have no idea where those kids went, or little people or whatever.
We'll
Then
call them aliens.
yeah, the aliens.
Yeah.
But I always thought, that just for a long time, that was just too hard
Yeah.
to fathom. But anyway, I heard another voice. That at this point, I heard another voice, and it was Mom, and she had stuck her head out that kitchen door, and she said, "Hey," she called my name. And as soon as I heard her, I just like something snapped in me, and I could move. Everything that just happened just kind of faded away. And she said, "Is everything okay?" And I said, "Everything's cool." But I'm thinking in my head, what the hell? Just something feels weird. Although I don't see anything anymore. I decide I don't want to go anymore. I call my friend, say, "Hey, come over and go swimming," you know. And she's like, "Okay, that's fine." So she brought her daughter over. When she walked across the backyard, her foot went numb. And then a numbness, and the stinging and numbness went all the way up her leg. So we got out to the pool to make sure she didn't step on a bee or something. We looked for a stinger. And we didn't see anything. And we were probably out there about 10 minutes when all of us got real nauseated. And my head started to hurt, and I started seeing white halos around all the lights. So they left, and I went to bed. And the next morning when I got up, my eyes were swelled shut and hurt so bad that Mom took me to the emergency room. And there was an eye specialist in the emergency room, which that's not normal, but for whatever reason, he was in there. And he asked her and me if they minded if we went across the street to his office so he could examine me better. Okay, so we went over there, and first thing he asked me is like, "Have you looked in the arc of a welder's torch? Have you been somewhere where there's an eclipse and looked at the sun?" At that point, I didn't remember the light and the little kids and the egg thing, and all I could think of was, "Why are you asking me these questions, for Christ's sake?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"No, what is wrong with me?" And and it was a couple days later that we noticed the mark in the yard had developed, that it was about 8 feet in diameter. It was like a 49-foot streak that went all the way across the yard, exactly 2 feet wide. And
And that stayed there for like 5 years. It didn't
Yeah.
go away.
it didn't, and snow melted off of it the first
Yeah.
winter. I've got pictures where you could see it once it snowed,
Yeah.
snow melted off of it. And all kinds of weird things started happening to me with my vision, my eyes. I started getting sick and having like rashes and swelled up glands all the time. And I ended up having to wear glasses. By the time I was 30, I was diagnosed with cataracts and macular degeneration. And by the time I just hit like 49 or 50, I ended up having to have my lenses and my eyes replaced. And I still, so far my macular degeneration is dry, but I have to be dilated every 6 months. I have for years. I will always blame it on that night because,
Yeah.
but I can't prove that. But it was so profound what happened to me. And then the paranormal activity started ramping up in the house. I remembered about a book that I had tried to read a few months before that Bud had written called Missing Time. I could never finish it because I kept having panic attacks whenever I tried to read it, but I knew there was an address in the back where I could write to him. So I wrote to him, hoping that he could tell me what this was and that it wasn't what it seemed to be, because I could not afford to lose my mind and go crazy. I had 2 kids that I'm going to have to raise by myself, and I got to stay sane for them. And
Yeah.
this is making no sense, you know. And then I started remembering other stuff that had happened to me when I was younger, when I was first married to Charlie. And, you know, way back when I was a kid, and Kathleen took me to Detroit to see Eileen Pinchot and her friend Denise. You know, all these memories of this weird stuff started coming back. And then Bud, eventually, I wrote the letter, sent pictures. He called. 2.5 year long investigation. He came to Indiana a few times,
And
interviewed
now we
all,
have the book.
and now,
Intruders.
yeah, you know, and he came to us and he said, you know, after about 2 years, he came to mom and dad and me, and he goes, I think that your case is important because you have so many different factors. You've got physical trace evidence. We found 2 independent witnesses, you know, uh, you had your physical problems. Penny got sick. Remember Penny when all her hair fell out? She looked all crazy.
That
Sherry,
Penny's
I
her
think,
dog.
yeah,
Yes, I do remember
I
because
think
I'm
Sherry,
the only one that would
you,
take her
yeah,
out of her misery.
yeah, you took her. You were the one that took her to the vet to have her
I
put to sleep. Bless your
I
heart.
know that was horrible, but
It was,
I'm
but she was a
suffering.
hot mess. She was suffering.
Yeah.
So anyway, you know, he came to mom and dad and me, and he's like, "I really want to write this book." And our initial reaction was, "I don't think so," because that was not the whole point of this, you know. But he convinced us that it would help people, and that there were millions of people out there like us. And eventually, we said, "Well, if you give us a pseudonym, different names, and you know, even Copley Woods is a pseudonym, as
Yeah.
you know, then okay, we would agree to it." And then, you know, it just took off from there. And I've had other experiences, and then I got interested in the paranormal because I
Right.
think there's a connection between the two. And you know, like Sherry, she's got all these psychic abilities. When she was a baby, as soon as she could open her mouth and start talking, she used to tell people about the colored lights around people's heads that she could see, you know. And I think all of us have some sort of a extra gift thing or something. I don't know whether it's because of all this or if that's why we attracted them to begin with. I don't
You
know.
know what kind of just dawned on me? You know, you have eye issues, Kathy has eye issues, and I have eye issues.
Yeah.
Bobby,
I have glasses, but I don't.
yeah,
So yeah, I can't. I know you talked about the whole family. I don't. Uh, I must be the normal one. And
maybe.
I'm the normal one.
Well,
But
I'm looking forward because we're going to start talking about all the haunted stuff in the house too. Uh,
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to hearing Bobby. You said you had a couple.
well, I don't. They're not as good as what you guys have. I guess. I mean, you have to be open. You know, you have
Yeah.
to have an open mindset. I think mine is. I think I until recently, I've been pretty closed minded.
Oh, you didn't want to talk about this at all when
No,
Bud was in the he's like, no, no, thank you.
no,
But you know
I was
what?
out.
Neither did Dad. And
I know.
Dad saw a lot of stuff there towards the end.
Well,
Yeah,
I do.
yeah,
I have an old recording of the old man though, being interviewed by somebody from ABC News in New York who came to interview us after it became public, and the old man was out there like, "Oh, something to hear." You know,
yeah, I know.
and the
I
time
know.
him and Uncle Jim got that old Geiger counter, and we're out there goofing around. I'm like, I don't think either one of them knew what they were doing, but you know, made them feel
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Welcome to Marcel. We are talking with Debbie Jordan Kauble, her
Who is
experiences,
also your sister?
also our sister, talking about her journey. She began um, with her alien abduction experiences and kind of evolved, went down the path of spirits, paranormal, various things like that. Debbie, you're speaking in a few days. Um, Michigan UFO contact,
Mhm.
September 26th and 27th in wherever that
Houghton,
is in
Houghton
Michigan,
Lake, Michigan.
Houghton Lake, Michigan.
Yep.
Um, you're going to talk about extraordinary people
Mhm.
that you've met over the years, right? Give us some examples of some of these strange, extraordinary people that you've met.
Well, I think they're like almost angelic in the way they presented themselves to me. One was when my late husband passed away. Have to, they have to tell you. A doctor has to be the one to tell you they're gone. And so I was in that little room where you go, and my daughter-in-law and her husband were there. Somebody had to go identify him, and I just couldn't do it. So I was left alone there, and this man came in. He looked like a priest, dressed like a priest, with the collar and the cross and everything. Very kind face, and had a name tag on. I can't remember the name right now, but I remembered it then. He came into me and he said, "Mrs. Lerner, I'm sorry to tell you your husband didn't make it." And I said, "I know." And then I looked up at the guy and I said, "You're a priest. Tell me something. If he killed himself, does that mean he's going to go to hell? Because if it does, that's wrong, because he doesn't belong there. He's a good person. And he's just sick." And the priest, he looked at me and he said, "God calls everyone home in different ways. If it wasn't his time to go, the gun would have misfired." And then he asked if he could pray with me. And I said, "Sure." Well, I don't know how to pray, but yeah. He got down on his knees. This old dude got down on his knees in front of me and took my hands and bowed his head at my knees and started praying. And I just got this overwhelming feeling of comfort and peace and warmth just swept over me. And it really carried me through. It really did. It carried me through the funeral and everything. And a few weeks afterwards, I decided I'm going to go tell. I couldn't stop thinking about him. It made such an impact on me. So I went back to the hospital to thank him. I bought a card and everything to give him. And when I got there, the information lady's like, "Nobody by that name or description works here." And I said, "Well, could he possibly come from could he have come from another church? A lot of churches come and make their rounds at the hospitals." She's like, "I don't think so. I've been here 40 years and I don't recognize anything about that." And she even got up and went and got a couple other old volunteers to ask them. And they all came over there like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yes, really. And why do you think I'm here?" I bought him a card. So it's like, I left there feeling like that was some kind of an angel that came to me in my hour of
Yeah.
need,
A guardian
and
angel.
something.
You know what? And that's a perfect example of most people. A lot of things happen to other people too, but it just goes over their head. If you wouldn't have went back to the hospital, you wouldn't have thought anything of it.
No, I
So,
would have never realized that,
right.
I
So,
you
know.
know?
you
And
know,
then I was in Cincinnati just this last July speaking at the International MUFON Conference. And the final night of the conference, my friend or my couple of my friends decided to take me out to dinner at a place called Otto's there, and I don't know, I think it's in Cincinnati. So we're sitting in there, and there's four of us together at the table, and all of a sudden, everyone in the restaurants, their tornado warning goes off on their phone. Well, this triggers me because in 2013, I survived a tornado. I survived a direct hit, and I lost everything, and I was in the debris, had to be pulled out of it. So I have a lot of PTSD about that. And I've done really well, but I was out of my element and away from my safe place when this happened. And my PTSD just went off the chain. I was totally triggered and I freaked out. Even the siren outside was going off right in front of the restaurants to just like add to the whole dramatic thing,
yeah.
right? And so I started freaking out. I was shaking and crying, and I was apologizing because I was mortified that I was showing this side of myself to these people. I thought I had it under control. And of course, everybody was kind, but I went. The guy, one of the man in the restaurant said, "You, anybody who wants to go in the basement, follow me." And of course, my butt was the first one out of the chair. So my whole table and friends and people went down in the basement of this restaurant for about 20, 25 minutes. And we were finished. We came back upstairs, finished our meals. There was an older couple next to us. And I think they went downstairs with us, but I couldn't remember. All I know, they got up to leave and they walked over to me. And the woman literally leaned right down in my face and she took my hands and she said, "Don't ever be ashamed or embarrassed to show your feelings. Your feelings are valid. We see you, we feel you, and you're not alone. And then the man reached over my shoulder and he patted my shoulder and he basically leaned into my ear and said the same thing. And then they left. And I sat there with my mouth hanging open. And I looked at my friends at the table and they were all kind of speechless, but in a good way. And all of a sudden I burst into tears again. Only this time it was like I was just overwhelmed with this emotion of the same thing I felt with that man, with this comfort and love and peace that just swept over me. And I looked up at my friend Lucy, who is a shaman, and I said, "Oh my God, that those people were angels." And Lucy goes, "Your cup runneth over." When she said that was so sweet because my eyes were leaking, and I said, "Yeah, my cup runneth over, and it's running over my eyelids." And
That's
I said, "Those people were angels." And she said, "They were." She goes, "Angels not some dude flies around with wings. Angel is an energy. And sometimes we're vessels for that energy. We're somebody else's angel." And she goes, and she said she believed that's what I had
Hmm.
encountered. And, even the next day when I drove home, that 2-hour drive back, when I thought about it again, I cried all over again because it felt so good to feel so loved and seen, was bizarre.
Yeah,
Those are the kind of they're good encounters. Those are the kinds of things that I've opened myself up to in the last,
yeah.
10 years.
Well, it should be a good talk up there in Michigan. If anybody's interested in the area, it's the 26th and 27th, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Feel free to go on up
And
there.
it's a great conference, and it's just all kinds of, it's cryptids and UFOs and spiritual. It just
Yeah.
encompasses like everything.
No, good, good. All right. So I know Debbie, you brought some EVPs. I want to kind of get into those, but before we do that, I know Chris has been waiting a little while. He'll Sherry. Sh I believe her name is Christina from last week
I
or the
think
week
it
before.
is. Yeah, I can't.
Welcome to the show, Sarah. Sherry, you have anything for Chris Deco?
Okay, the first thing that came up, um, Spirit is showing me a horse without a saddle, almost like they're saying that you're a free spirit and go wherever you want to go, even if it's on an unbeaten path. They want you to be more of a leader instead of a follower, and you do better when you wander around. They're just saying, do what makes you happy, and when it quits making you happy, then do something different.
Interesting. Okay, Chris, I hope that helped. Kathy Macy has a request. Sherry, what do you see for me today?
Okay, so let's see. Irene, what do we got here for her? They want you to, whether you start journaling, whether you do this or not, they're saying write down the emotions that you're feeling, um, because they're coming up to serve you in some way. And these are going to be the negative emotions, the sadness, depression, maybe even anger, whatever it is. Write them down. And they say kind of journal a little bit about that because it's going to, some of those might take you back to some events maybe in childhood that needed a little bit of healing. So that's what came up
Hmm.
for Kathy.
Okay, let's do one more before we get to the EVPs. Debbie Castle, one of our
Okay.
regulars here. Any messages for me today or signs I'm just not seeing? Am I too focused?
When you say I'm too focused, we would almost say you're too invested maybe with emotions. Sometimes that is going to be blocking your messages from spirit. One thing too that is coming up and spirit is talking about, um, if you start to feel a sense of loneliness or they just want me to tell you that you're never alone, that you do have a lot of spirit helpers around you and start calling on them. One of yours, it feels like a protector, really wants to come in and and start working with you every single day. Try to do it every single day at the same time.
Okay. Just one quick follow up from Chris here. Do you see her traveling next weekend?
Let's see what we've got going on here. When I get into that energetic field, it kind of felt like you might have had plans and then they stopped and then they're back on it. It keeps like we're teetering. At this point, they're telling me that it is a high probability that, yes, you will be traveling. But it just keeps going back and forth. I don't know if somebody's changing the plans or what, but they just keep showing me a teeter-totter back and forth, back and forth.
Okay. Debbie, I think this is for you. Midwest Paratalk Radio. Waving a hand, saying hello.
Hi, Greg.
Your friend from Paratalk Radio.
Oh, is that Greg?
Yep, he's harassing me.
Oh. Hi, Greg.
Let's get into some of these EVPs that Debbie brought with her today. The first one I want to talk about is the high ginger audio. Give us some background on that before I share that. What's that all about?
Little background on that. That was when we were. That's when I was still hanging out with MRIPA, Midwest. I can't even remember what it stands for now. It's another paranormal group, and we did a private session at in a private home in Indy, and it. Nobody was in the house at the time that was recorded. There were people out in the garage in the base area that we had set up. The people's complaint was that little girl would run up and down the halls at night and wake them up, and they didn't have any little girls in that family, in that household. So we had cameras set up in the bedroom or in the living room and dining room and kitchen, and upstairs and in the hallway. And then we had various recorders set around on tables. And this actual EVP that you hear now was also picked up by one of the video cameras audio that was faced in the room. And so it's kind of nice. I didn't send you both. I just sent the EVP part.
Yeah, right.
From my recorder. But then there also is a video of when the dog walks into the room and walks past the table where the recorder is, you hear the little voice say, "Hi, Ginger." And then the dog sits down. Well, Ginger was the name of the dog. And
really?
I don't even think I knew that at the time. I'm not even sure we knew that at the time.
All right. Well, let's listen to it. Let's listen to it and see if it's pretty eerie. Did you hear that?
Yeah, you can't not hear it.
I did hear that. Remember, we tried that earlier and I couldn't hear. I'm telling you, it's not me, Bobby. There's something.
Oh, it's you.
No, it isn't. I swear.
It's you.
It's not.
As soon as you make your peace with that, Shari, you're going to be all right. But that
was a good one.
That was. Were you in the room?
No.
No.
Nobody was in the room. There was no one in that room but the dog.
Boy,
the dog walked. We let the dog wander around because as long as we knew it was there, it didn't bother anything or hamper. And apparently it was pretty good bait because apparently this little girl spirit liked this dog.
Yeah, let's hear that again. I want to hear that again. Man,
that's amazing, isn't it?
That is crazy. It's like it's fake or something. I mean,
but it's not. We've got.
I'm not saying you faked it, but
I know
it sounds so clear.
No, we've got. I mean, Greg and I have gotten some unbelievably good and clear EVPs over the year. We're a great team together. It's all about energy and intention when you're going into a place. So
but you know what? And a lot of times too, you can't hear it with your naked ear. It's only on the the recordings or videos or something.
Marcel sounds like Hey Angel. Could be. Yeah, Greg, it is really clear.
We have. I'm telling you, I don't know. I think Greg and I, and even MRIPA, we've had some of the clearest EVPs I've ever heard. And when I hear stuff like what they have on TV, I think they have a show. We
Yeah.
throw that kind of stuff away.
Right.
Really. Well, let's go to the next one here.
The next one's really is it the gurgles one?
No, let's do the hello, everybody.
Okay. That's an interesting one.
So you were in the room with this one, right?
Well, yeah. We were on a private, it was Greg and me and our team, and we were on a private home. And it was the end of the night, end of the investigation. It was like 3 a.m. We were breaking everything down. We had all the walkies on the kitchen counter. We're getting ready to turn them off and take all the batteries out. And they were all, of course, on the same channel, because they got to be on the same channel for us to all communicate. But one walkie kept keying and making noise like somebody was on it. And I think in this EVP, you'll hear the first time it keyed, I have a recording of, because I record everything we're doing, even when I'm not doing a session, because that's when you get the best EVP sometimes.
Yeah.
But we could hear when it keyed one time, we could hear kind of a sort of sounded like a man's voice, but it was garbled, and maybe a little bit of a garbled kid's voice, but it wasn't really anything, direct. But then this one walkie kept keying, but the other ones weren't, even though they were all in the same channel. And then you'll hear in this, Ange says something like, "Why is that one walkie?" And then you'll hear this girl's voice say, "Hello, everyone." You have to remember, we're far away from, it's 3 a.m. Those are little Midland walkie-talkies. They don't have that big of a range. What are the odds of a kid somewhere playing with their walkie-talkies at 3 a.m? You know what I mean? It's just, it's amazing. Sometimes they use what they can of your electronics to do the job.
Yeah.
And I think this walkie-talkie was used.
Okay. Let's listen to this.
Why is the walkie going off right now?
Huh.
Man, that's me and Andy going,
Yeah.
because it's only coming out of one walkie-talkie. When they're all on and they're all set to the same channel, but only one walkie-talkie is playing this voice.
Well, let's hear that again. Let's hear that again.
Why is the walkie going off right now?
Huh. That's pretty cool.
There, I heard it. I couldn't hear it the first time.
Really? You can hear it then? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
That's crazy. Okay, then we have the gurgles. This is your gurgles.
This is my favorite of all time.
Not your stomach, right? But
well,
I think it squirted out your stomach, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. That was on my really good H1 stereo recorder, and you could hear my stomach gurgling because I just took a big gulp of Dr. Pepper, and it was Greg and I. Greg and I were the only 2 people in the house, and there was one guy downstairs at the base station, but everybody else was gone. So it was just Greg and I, and we were up in the attic, and we were just sitting on a bench, and we were just goofing around because that's what we do. And that's when we get the good stuff. And my stomach gurgled, and I kind of giggled, and I said, "Oh, my stomach," just so when I would go back to review the audio, I'd know what that noise was. And I said, "Oh, my stomach gurgling," and Greg started laughing and said something. And then this voice just literally steps on almost on top of the end of what I'm saying. So it's clear it's not me, and it doesn't even sound like me.
Yeah.
And whoever it was seemed to be tickled about the word gurgles.
All right, let's hear that.
Gurgly gurgleson.
Right. That's Deb's tummy going.
That's my belly gurgling.
Gurgles.
If y'all who lived here previously had, did you hear her?
Hear that? It was right before Debbie said, "Y'all have lived here previously." It was right before then.
I couldn't even hear any of the video at all.
Oh, it's audio, but
I mean audio.
okay. Let's hear that again.
All right, let's see if I can hear it.
Gurgly gurgleson.
Right. That's Deb's tummy going.
That's my belly gurgling.
Gurgles.
If y'all who lived here previously had,
Did you hear it?
Yeah, I could hear the whole video. The first time or the audio, I couldn't hear anything at
Oh,
all.
but you heard
Did
it?
Yeah,
you heard the girl's voice say gurgles?
yeah.
I mean, it literally sounded like she was sitting between me and Greg, and she just kinda leaned into the mic like this and said,
It
"Gurgle."
almost didn't sound like a little tiny girl. She sounded older, a little
Well,
older to me.
it sounded like somebody I'd probably hang out with who thought I
Yeah,
was funny.
Yeah, gurgles.
You know, it makes me excited because it tells me that, there's so much more than what meets the eye around us, and I
right.
wanna know it all.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, we had someone that wanted a read here. Um, Marcella. I had to go back and try and find her. Marcella would love a message. Do you have
Alright,
anything for her?
let's see what we've got. One thing that Spirit is showing me is that, you might find that where people are gonna start to push your buttons. Uh, just all types of people. It doesn't even need to be people that you know. It could be people that you just run into, but you're gonna find that you're gonna be presented with a lot of opportunities to ask yourself, why is this bothering me? Because they're kind of mirroring to you something that you might want to work on. So, it's not something bad, but they're just saying be prepared because people are going to really start to try to get under your skin or bother you. So,
Okay. Let's hope that helps. Um, like we were glitching there for a little bit. Keeps repeating. Christine said it's okay now. I think Greg thinks, yeah, there was some lag as well. So hopefully that's cleared up.
Hmm.
Maybe it's the software, the internet.
see, that's not me because
Yeah.
nothing's glitching. And here's my hands. I'm not touching anything. So,
Okay.
Everything looks smooth on my end. I haven't seen
me
any glitch.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine too. So, okay. Well, I'm glad it's fixed itself. Maybe something to do with the internet or whatever. But anyway, Debbie, you brought along a video too, um, an orb video. You were laying down on a couch trying to get an orb to come on your hand, right? What was the story on this?
Well, the story was I was laying there watching TV, and all of a sudden I felt like I wasn't alone. I felt like there was something in the room with me. So I just kind of willy-nilly, half-assed, stuck my hand up and said, "Hey, give me 5. I know you're here. I can feel you." And I turned on my security camera, which would normally be asleep. I keep it asleep in there until I go to bed because I don't want 5 million recordings of me moving around. So I flipped the security camera on and then I stuck my hand up and said, "Give me 5." And something weird happened.
Yeah, let's take a look at that.
Excuse me.
So there's you with your hand up, and now it's going to come from the upper right. So there, you see it right there. It's the orb, and here it's going to come around right to your hand, and then circle around back up. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's weird. And as a paranormal investigator, I've always been under the assumption, and I still kind of think that like 98% of orb videos are dust or pollen or moisture or bugs or some variety of that. But I do believe there are genuine orbs, I
Yeah.
really
I've seen
do.
them.
And I've seen some really compelling orb videos from other people before. So I don't think they're all dust.
Now
Oh,
let's look at that again,
yeah. I want to
because,
see it again too.
because usually dust it's not going to curve down and then curve back up, and
Right.
at the very end it comes right back up. So let's look at that, and right towards your hand too, just where you were
Yeah.
wanting them.
Yeah. I said, give me
Okay.
5.
So here it
And I
comes
I felt something there. The most
right
important thing
there.
was I felt it. I felt something there watching
And
me.
here it comes, coming right towards your hand, right there, and then right back up there at the end. That's
I
pretty cool,
felt
pretty wild.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, but yeah, like I said, the whole reason I turned on the camera was because I felt it.
Yeah.
I wasn't afraid of it at all. I was just like, "Hey, give me 5, dude," you know?
Yeah.
So,
Hmm. That is
I guess
interesting.
I'm getting used to them.
Yeah.
I guess. All right. Sherry, I don't know if you're going to you dive into politics or not. I don't think you do, but there's a presidential election, I think somewhere in England. I think Christina's from England somewhere. Uh, what do you see there? Who do you see winning? Can you feel anything from a
The first thing that honestly that came up is I just heard they said it would be a surprise. In other words, a lot of people are going to be surprised at the outcome.
really? Okay. Well, of course, you don't know.
I don't know anything about history. I think I think we're safe to say that. So I or any kind
Yeah.
of government or any politics.
Marcella, I think you're commenting on the orb. She's seen them
Oh
with
yeah.
faces inside. Have you seen some?
Yes, I have a photograph of one with several different kinds of faces in it that
Really?
I yeah, I can send it to you, so you guys can see it, but now I'm
Yeah,
gonna
maybe
see
we
it
could.
now.
Yeah, when we can show it to people in next week's show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen I had a friend that was walking and there were orbs everywhere and there were faces in all of them. It was really super cool.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, maybe she could email it to you. Was that Marcella or something on the
For yeah,
orb faces?
yeah, um, yeah, um,
Yeah, that would be fun to see them.
yeah. Marcella, if you've got a picture, email it sherryklein11 at gmail.com. I'd love to see that.
I would too.
And
Yeah,
Debbie, share yours and
we'll compare them.
yeah, we'll
Yeah.
look at them. Oh, okay. So Cyclese is just it's not England. It's a small island nation in the Indian Ocean. So her home country.
Okay.
So, Christine, I guess whoever's behind, maybe that'll be the person that's going to win. I don't know. All right, so let's talk a little bit about uh, our our haunted house that
Hmm.
Yeah.
we're all connected to. Sherry, I know you've got a list of
Hmm.
things that happened that in our pre-show you went down and we talked about. You want to start off on that list? I think the first one is it talks about a metal cabinet.
Oh yeah. And I won't get too detailed, but
Well, no, I don't. We don't need that.
well, this was many years ago, and we lived in a house that was a tri-level, and it was late at night, and my boyfriend was there, and we were just kind of messing around on the couch, and I was staring. We had this great big metal cabinet where you could hang clothes up in, but of course it wouldn't close, so we had to use one of those old wire hangers and wrap it around, and the ghost hated this guy because there were several things that happened. But anyway, it was like somebody was inside that cabinet, and I heard it like they kicked it open, and I saw that the wire just unravel and the doors just bang back and forth. I was scared to death.
Really?
Mom and dad were going to get up, not of the ghost, but, and I'm
Of
like,
dad.
I know. And I'm like, hurry, get up. You got to leave. And this guy's like, what? He didn't hear one thing. And I'm like, you got to go. He got up, he left. And the very next day, I asked him about it. He didn't remember anything.
Really?
And I not only heard it, I saw it. And it was so loud. It was really amazing what spirit can do. People are like, oh, they can't. Yeah, they can. They can move things. I've seen a lot of times where they
Totally.
move. Speaking of
Really?
moving things, we all heard this story 1,000 times. Mom was in the living room and just had her, wasn't asleep, just kind of closed her eyes, was the only one in the house. And we had really heavy furniture, didn't we? Like,
Good God. It took 2 people to move that coffee table.
yeah.
For real.
And she said she opened her eyes and all the furniture was moved. She didn't hear anything or anything, and she was the only one in the house.
And you could see where it had moved because that coffee table was so heavy that it made a big dent in that carpeting, and you
Yeah.
could see the big dent where it had been. That's kind of stuff that happened after the June 30, 83 incident. This is this haunted house that we lived in. This is the same house.
Yeah. Wow.
But
it got really amped up.
right.
then.
But like we talked about too, it followed us to our other
Oh,
houses too.
It wasn't the house that was haunted, quote
Yeah.
unquote. It's us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to Brittany Lynn.
Hi, Brittany.
Welcome to the show. Sherry, what else have you got?
Okay. Now, Debbie, I know we talked about this, and you're like, I got it, about Debbie and I went on our own little ghost hunt. A lot of mom and dad and our sister, and I think you were probably in the service, Bobby.
Probably.
And Debbie had one of them great big, remember the great big video cameras that are heavy? It wasn't like a cell phone. And we were goofing around, going from room to room, and Debbie was filming it, and we were trying to get ghost on the video or something. And so we do different segments. And then I got tired because we weren't getting anything. And I said, I'm scared, I'm going to go to bed. But I wanted the tripod set up on me in case a ghost came to me in the middle of the night. And I just wanted proof. And so then I remember the next morning we got up, and Debbie, you looked through all the video, and everything was out of sequence. So the last thing should have been me going to bed, but it wasn't. It was like towards the front of the video. Do you remember that?
I vaguely do. After we talked about it on our thing, on our little Zoom hangout, I remember some of it. And I also think I may have some of that old video still. I think we digitized a lot of it, but then of course we lost a lot of stuff in the tornado. But Dave was able to pull off a lot of pictures and some video that I had off the hard drive. Yeah, even though we had to get rid of them, they were damaged. He could get some of it off, and it seems to me like I've got some videos that are marked Shari. So that I'll have to go back and dig. But after we talked about it, I thought, you know what? I think I might remember that. I don't remember the details, but I think I remember doing that.
Isn't that strange how and that happens so many times. Two people can witness the same thing and maybe either remember it differently or one doesn't remember. Just like that guy that was downstairs with me, he didn't see any of it.
Yeah, and I think if it affects, I was peripheral to it. It was your experience, and I was just peripheral. I think I tend to remember my own experiences more, although I do still remember, like I remember that story, that you tell about about the cabinet, because I think because I thought it was funny as hell.
Well, I tell you what, when like that, a perfect example. We try to conjure them up and get them on the video. They come when you least expect it, or they did in that house, and then it would scare me half to death. I seen just a handful of the ghost where I could see them, and it's not when I was expecting it. So
no,
yeah. All right, so let's take a little break on the paranormal. Brittany Lynn would like a reading. What do you have for her?
All right, let's see. One thing that's the first thing that came up is Spirit is saying, try to give your mind a rest. It feels like your mind is always going. They're asking you maybe to take some deep breaths when you feel anxious. Take some deep breaths in and out, and maybe try some yoga or something. But the mind is tired and wants to they kind of are asking you to kind of try to clear the mind, because it's going to start to build more and more anxiety. And then that's going to start, or it could start to affect even the physical body. So that's what's kind of coming up for Brittany right now.
Okay. I hope that helps, Brittany. All right, let's get back to it. I remember you talk, and I think we've all heard this about mom downstairs and the light.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
We've heard it 1,000 times from Mom when she was alive.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna believe this. Yeah,
I know.
it's bizarre. I even sent you a photograph of the actual lights and where the couch was.
That one there.
I
Right
can't
there in
see.
the corner.
I can't see it either.
Oh, okay. Well, I can see it. It's
Well, I'll
light,
describe it. It's like we had these
a
hanging
hanging
lights,
line. Right.
and there was nothing at the bottom, so you could reach your hand up and twist the light bulb out and change the light bulb.
Right.
And we had 2 of them. And Mom said that she was sitting downstairs, and she say they just dropped down and then they exploded. And it didn't hit her. It was like she had an invisible shield around her. Like none of the glass hit her, but it was like all around her.
It's like the glass just shot out from underneath of it and sprinkled all over the couch that she had just gotten up from. I think she said she'd just gotten up from the couch.
And also, didn't she say when it came down, it just turned really, really bright? It would just bright, blinding light.
I don't
And then it
remember that
exploded.
part.
Yeah, she mentioned that.
Well, I know me and the boys and her were sitting up in the living room one night watching TV, and there was this all of a sudden, this intense ball of green light flashed and filled the whole living room with green. And when that happened, I happened to look over. Everybody else was like this. And I looked at Mom, and the lamp that she was sitting next to flared up real bright, and then the light bulb shattered in it. And this was after the green light flashed in the living room, and it
Really?
turned off the TV and made the phone ring at the same time. It was bizarre.
Wow.
So Mom had something about light
Yeah.
bulbs busting.
Mom was spooky.
Yeah.
Remember when she seen that UFO? I'm telling you, I bet she told that story 1,000 times.
I know. I remember that.
She walked out, and I think you were with her, Debbie, and
the big like black thing that floated over the house, and then the lights all
yeah.
came
At
on,
first, you thought it was an airplane,
and
and
it
Mom
was so big.
And Mom goes, it was as big as a football field, and it lit up just for me like a Christmas tree.
And she was standing there looking at it like that. That was in April of 1984, so that was after the 83 incident, right? And she was standing on the porch going, "Oh my God, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen." I'm looking at her like, "Hell no, lady, not again." And I left her on the porch and ran through the house, got out the back kitchen door just in time to see this big thing just glide right over the backyard. Mom was just freaked out by it.
Really? That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people, and back then we didn't have cell phones. Everybody carries a cell phone. You could just video.
No.
By the time you would think of something like that, it's gone.
Oh,
No,
Trying to get something
we didn't have computers or internet.
Yeah,
or
we'd
cell
have to
phone
get that
or
big camcorder on our shoulder.
oh yeah, I know. That
Uh,
wasn't going to work.
Mm-mm.
What else you got, Sherry? What now, Debbie? You had something about we had talked about Penny, our dog, after Sherry had to put him down.
Yeah.
There was something that happened with Dad. You
No,
remember?
I was the one.
Oh, were you the one? Okay, tell us.
Yeah, like in our house, our dad's garage was way in the back. What was it on, like 2 acres or something? So it took some doing to walk back to the garage. And every morning my dad would go to work early when it was still, dark out. And our dog Penny used to follow him out there, and then he'd get in his car and go or get in his truck and go to work. Well, then after I put Penny down, Dad said that it was like a day or two after that he walked outside, and first thing he said when he looked up, he said that the sky was just filled with so many stars. It was amazing that he actually went and got Mom up out of bed to have her come and look at it. And I remember Mom saying it like lit up the whole sky almost. So then after that, Dad said he proceeded to go walk out to the barn. And keep in mind, I had put Penny down a couple of days before. And Dad said, "Here come Penny," or a dog that looked exactly like Penny, walking him out to the truck. Only when he turned and looked at this dog, his eyes were glowing a bright green. And Dad Dad was a non-believer for a long time. And he said he went in the truck, and then this dog went underneath the other truck that wasn't running, which is what our Penny used to do a lot of when she would get sick.
Yeah, she did.
Wow.
So yeah,
Amazing.
so animals,
Did it just happen the one time, or did
yeah,
he see that dog?
no,
Yeah.
just the one time.
Really?
But
Yeah, that's eerie. All right, Marcella has a question for both of you. Do any of you experience telepathy and or vivid guided dreams?
I do.
I have
You
a
do?
lot of telepathy. And my dreams, when I have my guided dreams, a lot of times I won't see what's happening, but it's more of a symbolism, or I'll get a feeling in a dream and that with somebody, and then I know kind of, I don't know what's going to happen necessarily, but I'll know kind of what area
Yeah.
something's going to be affected.
Debbie, what about you?
I do have I do experience moments of telepathy, and I have what I call lucid dreams. In my lucid, I almost feel like when I go to sleep, sometimes I go somewhere else completely.
Yeah, me too.
And my lucid dreams and that I have, they're not. I don't really get like premonitions about bad things to come or anything like that. It's just like I'm having contact with different life forms. It's just weird.
Yeah. Huh.
I have more dreams where I think I'm jumping parallel timelines.
Yeah, me too.
One that came up, it was so cool. I was a waitress at Harold Steer Inn when I was like 16. And I had a dream, and it was so real that in the dream, I was at Harold Steer Inn, the age I am now, but the 16-year-old Shari came up and waited on me. And I remember thinking, and I remember going, man, I look so young, and it was just, and I'm like, I'm so skinny, but it was so real. It was
Really
super cool. Yeah.
crazy. All right. Rusty Woodpecker from Australia. I love your username, Mr. Pecker. Hi there, Bob, Debbie, and Sherry from Australia. Could I have a reading, please? And thank you.
Okay. Let's see what we've got. The first thing that came up is spirit loves your creativity, whether your imagination, whether you do it or not, but they're kind of talking more in the art form of trying to paint, woodworking, whatever, things of this nature that really open up your childlike imagination. Because they're saying the more you tap into that childlike imagination, even doing puzzles would be helpful. I don't know if you ever did puzzles as a kid, but they're talking about things of this nature will really, really open up your connection with the spirit world. And there's one more thing too with him. His spirit is saying that there's, we all have guides that are with us the whole time, but some come in and go out. He's getting ready to have one come in that wants to really work with, and will start amping up his intuition. it feels like he might already be very intuitive, but this will take it to another level.
Yeah. All right. Good. Well, I hope that helps. There was a time when the power went out, and our brother-in-law was there at the house, and he had a little experience too. Which one of you wants to talk about that?
Go ahead, Jerry.
Well, I remember, I kind of love this because we remember things differently. What I remembered is we didn't have any power, which meant nobody had any heat but our parents. So we all loaded in there over there because they had a fireplace.
Yeah, it was the ice storm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, this was like 2 or 3 days, what I remember.
I think our power was out for like 10 days.
It was a long time.
Oh, well, then I must have really been traumatized and blacked it out. So
yeah, it was days, I am sure.
yeah, I just remembered we had to watch flushing the toilet. I was not digging that. But
that's because we had a well. We were on a well, so we
I know.
Yeah.
So anyway, I remember Roger, who again, he was like a non-believer too.
Oh yeah.
Like almost would make fun of everybody about the UFOs and ghosts and stuff until it started happening to him, and then it all gets real. And I remember him saying that he thought it was a little kid at first coming around the corner looking at him, but I think he was pretty sure it was a little alien. Is that how you remember it, Debbie and Bobby?
I
don't remember anything.
Bobby doesn't remember anything.
I think I blacked out my whole childhood.
You blocked out your whole childhood. You did. But I do. I remember that they were sleeping like in the living room, and it was like a free for all in there with everybody just camped out everywhere. And I remember because Roger was a little flighty. I mean, it freaked him out pretty bad. And I believe that he said it was I thought he said it was a little kid, or maybe the shadow of a little kid or somebody small. So
you know what else too? Isn't it funny how things will just spark your memory? Mm-hmm. I remember Rusty, who was his kid. Remember Rusty saw like an orb that came and landed right next to him.
But yeah, and it had a little person inside of it. I remember that.
I know. I just now thought of that.
I remember that. Yeah. Yeah.
Remember how we were just talking about orbs with faces? Yeah, Bobby, you were like,
where the hell was I?
I don't know.
I don't know.
You couldn't have been in the service at that point.
No. I remember when the power went out.
You must have just
been up in my room. And you all just gathered around the fireplace.
I think we scared you. All of us girls intimidated you when you were little.
Remember how we'd always get in the bathroom and do tag team, and then Bobby couldn't get in there?
Yeah, I remember. So. All right, what else have you got? Anything else?
Oh yeah,
you want to talk about?
Let's see.
We got a few more minutes, not too much longer.
Okay. Debbie,
yes.
You're going to know more about this. Remember in our old bedroom when you and Mom went in there and the room was covered in bees?
Yes.
I knew you forgot about that.
Oh, I actually wrote about that in my book. It is creepy. Yeah.
Thank God it wasn't flies. I watched some of these movies and flies, I don't think are our friend.
Literally, I know, literally thousands of them. And they were all so lethargic. They were hanging off the curtains, hanging off the lights, all over the floor. But they weren't really they weren't dead, but they weren't really doing a lot. It seemed to me like, and the kids were freaked out because it was their bedroom. And there wasn't any. Daddy had painted the windows shut. God help us all. The place didn't catch on fire. We'd all died.
I know. I tried to sneak out, could not open those windows.
No, and there was no attic door in there. And this was a sandstone tri-level house, so it was solid as a rock. There weren't clapboards that bees could get up under and build a nest. We have no idea where these suckers came from, and they appeared out of nowhere. And I believe that Daddy had to get a shop vac and suck them into the shop vac and take them outside and to get rid of them. But they didn't really put up a fight, and nobody got stung. It was just so freaking bizarre.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Did they ever come back?
Nope.
No.
No, they
At
never
one
came
time.
back. Just that one time.
Just a lot of, it's not all about ghosts.
No, it's just weird stuff.
Yeah.
Word. Yeah. Wow.
I love what Chris just wrote. Could
Yeah.
orbs be a miniature spaceship? I would say absolutely.
Sure, why not? Or they could even be the beings themselves, because I had that.
Oh, I truly believe there are the beings.
One time I went for a walk and I had that whole conversation with some disembodied voice that said from where he was at, he could see us, but we just looked like little balls of light bouncing around in the dark. But where they lived, they looked like us. And that the little balls of light that we see bouncing around in the dark, that's them. But we're only able to see them from that perspective because of where we are. They're in different dimensions.
Because we vibrate. There's people right here with us, but we vibrate different levels.
Well, I totally believe that.
Yeah. Okay, Rusty, thank you very much, Shari. He does do crossword puzzles, but it's been a while, so he's doing a lot of civil works on my land, and now he's got a rest day. So thanks for taking the time on your rest day to come visit us. Appreciate it.
And Rusty, isn't that funny? We have a nephew named Rusty.
We do.
Yeah, we do.
We were just talking about him.
Synchronicity.
Yeah, it is. It is. Okay, I think we got time for one more. What do you want to share?
Okay, let's do the 911 call.
Oh,
yeah, that.
I love those because that has evidence.
Yeah. I was living with Mom and Dad at the time, and we were awakened in the middle of the night by the police banging on the doors. And Mom was like, we all got up and the police came in, and they said that somebody had called 911 from that house and was a woman, and she was in great distress, and they had come to see what's going on. And they looked at Mom and me like, they actually ended up, since Daddy had another line, a phone out in the workshop.
That's back when people had the hardwired
phones. When we had landlines, yeah. So the police actually took Dad out to the workshop, quote unquote, to check that extra line. And in reality, they wanted to get him and Mom and I separated. And then the cop's like, okay, he's gone now. You can tell us if, something's happened. What's he done? And Mom and I are looking at each other like, nothing. No, we have nothing to do with it. And I started feeling weird, like, oh my God, did I call the police? And, with this crazy
Mom called
UFO
me. I worked third shift at Steak and Shake, and Mom called me wanting to know if me and my ex-husband were into a fight, and he beat me up or something, and I called from the house. But
they went through that house with a fine-tooth comb, and when they didn't see anything, and Mom and I are like, he hasn't done anything to us. We're good here. We were all asleep. We have no idea. And the guy even called the dispatch from our phone number to make sure that the call had come from the number. And when he hung up, he said, the call came from this house. And Mom's like, well, it didn't come from any of us.
Yeah, so, that's what I love, evidence.
That's crazy, yeah.
Yep.
Would have been even crazier if they'd have taken Dad to jail.
Good God. Yeah, I know.
Ghost turned him in.
Yeah.
Yeah, just bizarre. That was a weird time of our lives, wasn't it?
It was.
I love stuff like that. And sometimes I think that's what maybe makes it happen so much, because all of us, we like it. Even as kids,
it's a part of us.
We love to, remember when we would get a deck of cards and try to, okay, what am I got here?
I always tell people, my mother played flashcards with us when we were little kids. She played school with us like other mothers do, except my mom was a little weird because instead of a regular flashcard that had 2 plus 2 equals 4 or ABC, my mom would hold a card up and say, okay, what color is what shape is it? What color is it? And it's like she'd hold up the back of the card
Yeah.
like we were supposed to figure it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a little
Yeah,
different.
it's
I thought everybody was raised like that for the
a
longest
little
time.
eccentric
Yeah,
family. Yeah.
I thought that was normal. We didn't know any different.
I want to hear I've been waiting this whole time, Bobby. You have 2 stories, you said.
No, well, I don't. They're not like these. I mean, they're just like feelings that I had. I had um, when I graduated high school, I'd moved out to California. I had a couple of screenplays that I'd written. I wanted to sell them, and of course, they didn't sell. So I got frustrated. Came back. When I came back, I found out Debbie took my room from me. So I had to sleep down.
Who knew?
There's a small room in the basement.
Oh,
You
that
know,
was
That
creepy.
used to be
oh
my
man,
room when I was a teenager. Remember, I
yeah.
painted the
And I
walls
was
black.
down there, and I can remember one night. I mean, pitch dark. Um, I was sitting there, and for whatever reason, I just woke up. In the middle of the night, just laid there, trying to get back to sleep, and I just had such a like horrible feeling. You know, I can feel people, things for some
Yeah.
reason. And I just had such a feeling of like dread and panic because there was something there. I mean, it
Oh,
was
I know
pitch
there
black.
was.
I didn't know I couldn't see anything. I could barely see 5 feet in front of me,
Yeah.
but I know that I could feel something. It wasn't in the room. It was outside the room behind the wall. And those were like concrete block walls.
Are
You
you
know?
talking like in the furnace room? Like, remember the
No, he was
pool?
No,
talking
it's the
about
other
the
one.
little,
It's the other
that
side.
little, the one that was my bedroom that I painted
It's
black
right
and
where
had
the
the
washer
fish
and dryer,
on
where the
Right. I
washer
know
and
that.
dryer.
Oh, you
That's
mean,
where,
my
right
okay.
old
there. And I was
bedroom.
sleeping in the bedroom right there.
Mhm.
Uh,
And I swear I could feel it. I had
one
to get up
time,
and turn the lights on, look around and everything. Um, and I don't remember I stayed there. I think I went up somewhere, slept on the couch the rest of the night.
I remember when I was married to JR and we were in that bedroom and and I go, JR, check it out. There's a ghost. And we'd hear a knock on one side of the wall. And I go, now listen, it's going to knock on the other side. And then it'd knock on the other side. And I go, listen, it'll knock above our head. And then it knocked above our head. And I'm like, we did that like for the longest time. Like you just couldn't make that up. There
Yeah.
was something in there. Yeah, it was a
Yeah. I
creepy
remember
house.
another time I was upstairs in the little bedroom, the one I had. And the bed was like right next to the wall.
Yeah,
'Cause the room
Yeah,
was so small, you couldn't fit it anywhere else.
there
It had,
was a
right.
tiny little
and
bed.
I was there, and I was like leaning up next to the wall, and all of a sudden I heard a scratching coming from the inside of that wall, and I was hearing it some more, and it would just kept scratching, except kept getting louder and louder, and I thought, Jesus Christ, it's a rat in the wall, and it's coming through.
But
So
it wasn't because those were plaster walls.
oh, I know.
That was an old house, and that was a block so there was nothing
But
could get in
I
there.
am telling you, I know what I heard.
Yeah, I'm
And
sure it was something
I got up freaking out.
weird.
And I think Dad was still up or something. And I told him, there's a freaking rat in my wall, Dad. And
And then you say,
he
just
said,
go
no,
to
no,
bed.
no. And he walked up there and he sat down and he listened and he could hear it.
Wow.
He heard something.
Hmm.
And you tell me it's a plaster and all that, and it couldn't be
Yeah.
there. God, there was something there.
Well, something was there, but I don't think it was a rat.
I don't know, man. I don't know. No, we do not live in that house or go to
No,
that house. But you've been there, Debbie, or you've talked to the people
yeah,
that bought it
it was
for Dad.
a few years after Dad moved out, I found out that a school friend of mine's best friend bought the house. And when she bought it, she wasn't aware of any of the woo woo stuff or the UFO stuff or anything. And so my friend clued her in on it, and she thought it was kind of cool and said, well, you can come by anytime. And I think one time I actually stopped for a little bit. And then later on, I asked your friend if any weird things has ever happened in there. And she's like,
Yeah.
nope, they've never reported anything strange or anything at all. So it
Maybe it's just us.
has to be us. It has to,
We're just attracting, or you. I'll say
it ain't
you.
just me. Talk to
Well,
her.
I tell you what, I would never stay in that house by myself. Like I did
No,
one
not
time.
anymore. Never.
I did one time, and I saw a little girl ghost run up the stairs, but I refused to be in that house
Oh,
by myself.
yeah.
Even if mom wasn't there or something, or dad, I'd sit on the porch
I
until they.
know. I mean, I'd sit. I was in the basement bedroom. I'd be laying on the, the bed, just doing something, probably smoking. And yeah, I mean, I know nobody was in the house, but you could hear people walking.
All
Yeah.
the time.
All the time.
You knew for a fact nobody's. And I walked up there and I tried to find who came home. Nobody was there.
You
I
know,
went back downstairs. Heard it again.
Yeah.
one time I was there doing laundry, and I was in the lower room where the family room where the glass splattered on her that time. And there was a playpen down there. I had one of the kids in there, it was a baby, and I was folding clothes and running back and forth from the basement laundry. And no one was home. And mom was at work, and dad might've been at work too, but it was during the day. Anyway, I started hearing little footsteps all around the house, up and down. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? Then I heard the stereo that was in the living room. Remember that console stereo that we
Yeah.
flip on and off a whole bunch of times? And I started freaking out. And then the baby started fussing and wanted a bottle. And I'm like, oh my God. So I climbed up the stairs real slow and opened the door and peeked in. And I didn't see anybody. And I ran to the fridge to grab a bottle out. And when I opened the refrigerator, all the lids and stuff flew off of like the ketchup bottles and things. And I grabbed that baby bottle and lid and ran back downstairs. And I called Kathy. And I said, I
Our
think there's
sister.
somebody. Yeah, the older sister, she was at her house. I called her and I said, I think there's someone in the house. She was like, well, where's mom and dad? And I go, they're at work. I'm here by myself with the baby. And she's like, then while we're on the phone, we hear somebody pick up the extension upstairs. And
Ooh.
Kathy says, somebody just picked up the extension. And I'm freaking out. And she says,
Like,
I'm calling.
run.
She said, she called the police.
Throw the phone.
She called the police and sent them to the house. And then she called mom. And I grabbed the baby and I went out the back basement door and around to the front. By the time I got around to the front, the police were there.
Huh.
And
I remember that.
They went all through that house because we heard somebody pick up the extension upstairs. And there was nobody in that house. I was so freaked out after that happened.
Yeah.
So, and Kathy heard it. She heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marcella, yes, we are from Indiana.
And everything that happened in Indiana. So,
Yeah, I know it sounds like a horror movie, but I mean, they never hurt anybody,
You know what though?
Thing.
Remember how we used to love it. We used to call the ghost, and I think there was more than one. Casper.
Casper, right?
Remember, and we'd be like, Casper, fold that laundry downstairs.
Right.
Do the bed, make the beds.
All right, so we got Rusty has one more question for Shari, and then we'll have to close this thing down. We're running on an hour and a half.
Wow.
My parents passed over not too long ago, and I was wondering if they might have a message for me. I love and miss them very much.
One
Shari,
thing,
can you feel anything?
Instantly, I can feel them like lifting up your chin, and they're saying, keep your head high. And they want you to focus on what it is that you want, because they don't want you to get sidetracked. I don't know if you really want something really bad and then you kind of lose fizz and then go on to something else or go on to something else. They're just saying stay the course and believe in yourself. So because they said sometimes you're not your best cheerleader. And they want you to believe in yourself and focus and whatever you want. If you want it bad enough, they're saying that you can have it and that they can come in and help you. Our loved ones on the other side can be our spirit helpers too. They can come and go. They're not our guides that come with us when we incarnate and stay with us the rest of our life, but your parents, our little furry friends, all of that can come and go. So that's their message to you, Rusty.
Okay. Hope that helps. Chris, comment. Maybe your ghost, Debbie, was trying to call 911.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it was
Help,
scared of
there's
me.
an alien in the house.
There's a woman in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Let's just close this down. It has been fun.
Yeah.
Talking about all the things. We're going to have to do this more often. Debbie, you have to come back and bring us some more EVPs and
Sure.
orb videos.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's fun. And I like spending time with my siblings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Sherry can cure her technology difficulties.
I swear it is not me.
Okay. All right, Sherry. It happens every single time, but
I know,
whatever,
but it's I am not touching anything. It is my little ghost messing with stuff.
Okay. All right, great. Thanks, Chris.
Chris.
These are, I mean, we have plenty more to do, at least one more show. That's a fact.
Oh,
but,
God, yeah.
For now, let's close it down. Thanks everybody for tuning in for today's show. And thanks to Debbie who agreed to share all of her stories and her EVPs. We hope you liked them. As always, if you have a topic you'd like for us to discuss or a question for Sherry to answer, put that down in the comments section. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Put a comment down there too, because the YouTube algorithm really picks up on that, and they say, oh, well, there's a lot of comments, there's a lot of likes. Let's show this to a lot more people. And that's why we can get a lot more people involved here. So appreciate it if you could do that. If you'd like to book your own private read with Sherry, just go to psychicshari.com, click on the Schedule Now button. You'll be able to pick your own appointment. She has 20 and 30-minute readings and would be glad to help you. Kathy, thank you. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for coming.
All right.
Yeah, maybe that glitch was more evident.
Is the universe saying, see, they ain't playing?
It's the universe saying, see, it's not Sherry.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot, everybody.
All right. Thanks,
Take care.
everybody.
We'll see you next week.
All right. Bye-bye.